What's up, everybody? Welcome to the My RC Life YouTube channel, where we do all things RC and a little bit of everything in between. Let's go!
What's going on, everybody? Travis Mike from My RC Life. I haven't done any shop videos in a while, so today what we're going to do is a review on my Tekno MT-410 after about a year of ownership. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this truck, it's a Tekno MT-410 with lots of M2C racing parts and other real good goodies inside of here. It's got Proline Badland MX tires. They are 3x7 by 6.9. They're on the Proline wheel. Really good wheels. These kind of unbolt right here from the hub. It's a really nice setup. I think you can bolt other wheels to those little hubs. Pretty decent. I have these Proline screw-on body mounts for a Traxxas Slash is what you have to buy them for. They did take a little bit of modification, but they do go on this truck very easily. It's a lot better than running these style pins, you know, the standard body pins. I've never had one of these loosen up, and I've never lost one because I was worried. It only came with 4 of them. I was like, well, what if you end up losing one? You got to buy a whole new pack of 4 or this whole new body mount setup to get one. Well, I've never lost one yet. So as far as on the back here, I did put these little spacers that came with my Traxxas rally car on there just because I hadn't built up the inside of my body with this tape yet, and I had some light cracks right there, so I shoe glued these up, and then I just run these on there just so the body don't beat up so much. The body is a Proline Ford Raptor body. I've been pretty happy with the body. Like I said, I didn't build up the inside with I put the Gorilla Tape on the inside, then I hit it with a heat gun, and it really helps get them strong. Well, before I did that, I painted it, and then I bashed with it immediately. And like I said, it had those 2 cracks in it, and I did put a crack here. But just using a little bit of shoe goo, it's amazing how much, I mean, it ain't re-cracking there. So I had a little spot there I had to fix. It went from here all the way down the side. That's a pretty good crack. And then it had another small one here. I fixed that with a little bit of shoe goo. And that was about all. So other than that, I've been pretty happy with the Ford Raptor body. It seems all right. Okay, now let's start with the chassis. Now this is the stock chassis that comes with this Tekno MT-410. As you can see, if you use this chassis, there'd be a lot of extra, you know, between the edges of this chassis and the body. Plus, this one is a little thinner than the M2C stuff. So I opted for the M2C wide body kit. And as you can see, it's hugely different. So you can see the difference there. I mean, a couple inches each, you know, an inch or so each side. And it's a sticker. Plus, on this chassis, up here is where you're supposed to put the ESC. And then you can't run a long can motor because you can't fit much of an ESC in here if you got a long can motor in here. So you got to run a shorter motor. And you know, I really like to run bigger motors and things like that. So there was nothing but this choice for me. The battery tray, you can get a little bit wider battery. You can modify the tray a little bit. Actually, when you buy this from M2C, it tells you to modify the tray. Right here, it tells you to cut the back out, so you can get a little longer one in there. Now under the hood here, under the body, I got a Max 6 ESC, good for up to 8S. I have a TP Power motor. I do believe this is it's a 1680 kV TP Power motor. I got Game Changer fans on here. I got the Noble NB4, FlySky Noble NB4 transmitter and receiver combo. I also have a bunch of other M2C goodies, the center brace, the Go Big or Go Home shock towers, and all these mounting deals. And you got this little brace here, and another brace up here. Got all the good M2C goodies. T-bone front and rear bumpers. Those have been really good. Not that the stock ones were crap. I mean, I guess I did break the stock front one pretty quickly. But other than that, it was just like a little piece right here that broke. But the bumper was fine. Just the retaining part was cracked a little bit in the middle. Nothing too big. This is what broke right there on the original front bumper. See, no big deal. I do have the metal spur gear. I don't remember. I think it might be by GPM. I do have these aluminum casings for the rear diff, the front diff, and the center diff, but I haven't had no issues with them yet, so I haven't went ahead and replaced these yet. These are what some of the stock braces look like, the plastic ones, and you know, they're probably fine, but you're going from something like this to something like this, you know. Well, not like this. They don't come with this center brace, but I guess this would be like this little guy back here. You know, they're just huge comparatively. I do have these M2C bleeder style shock caps for the Tekno, but I have not put these on yet either because I haven't really had no issues with these leaking yet. Supposedly these are one of the things that breaks quite easily on the Tekno, is these caps will break. They'll break right off from there, or they'll leak. I haven't had that problem yet, so I'm just going with it. So I have also heard that these axle shafts can bend quite easily. They are metal shafts from the factory. I haven't even really bent one. I mean, that one's running true. That one runs true. That one looks like it runs true. That one actually does have a slight little bend in it. I have the Reach 444 steering servo, 444 ounces, steel gear, really quiet. I really like this steering servo. I've not really had much problems with this, just normal stuff, you know, like breaking that A-arm, things like that. Now the other day I did have to quit driving it, and that is because my motor loosened up. And I don't know if you can see, but yeah, the motor is definitely loose. There's a bolt right there. Allen head sticking out right there. That loosened up, and I lost my mesh. Luckily, I heard it right away, and I stopped. No big complaints on this truck. I don't have the ESC turned up at all. It's at stock settings. I don't have the timing turned up or the punch turned up or anything like that. It's just on slow settings. I've never run it on more than a 4-cell. It can run on dual 4 cells if I wanted to, but that would just be unruly in this application. This thing would be so freaking crazy. MT-410 with 8S, it would just be nuts. Another thing I do have here is I have this steering servo relocation kit. You have to get this when you get the wide body, because if not, the steering's all janky, and you have to get this long servo arm as well. You have to get that if you get this chassis. You gotta buy it. It's this new servo mount here, which spins the servo the other way and it moves it over a little bit further. And since it's moved over, you gotta get this longer arm. The other thing I noticed while I was pointing some stuff out is my ESC is loosening up just a little bit as well. So we're gonna tear into this and bring it back to its tip-top shape nature after almost a year of bashing. All right, let's get after fixing this bugger. All right, we got a couple bolts to undo here, and then this whole motor should slide right out. Of course, I might not be able to get these out. They might be Loctited in kind of good. Let's see. Oh, wait, see, it came out. Look at that. We got another bolt right through here. Now, this right here is the bolt that loosened up. Did it just loosen up or did it break? Looks like it loosened up. It was a bolt that I had to make myself. I had to cut one down to size. It actually looks like it may have tore the threads out of the motor. I might spin this motor 180 degrees and get the 2 fresh holes. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let's unplug this motor. I'm not going to pull these fans off or anything because I can still twist this in there. So that's going to be totally fine. Okay. Pull out this other screw. That one wasn't extremely tight either. Boy, they don't go in there very far though. Yeah, it definitely did tear some of the threads out because I can see some threads from the motor caught on that screw. See them? Right there, it tore the threads right out of that motor, that aluminum motor can. So that tells me I probably do need to try to find a screw that can go in there just a little deeper. Okay, the short one, that's what used to be in it, and I'm going to put these longer ones in it, and that's going to take care of our problem. Regular blue Loctite, the Tekno blue Loctite is like between a regular blue Loctite and a regular red Loctite. Like it's more than medium, but less than permanent thread locker or whatever. Okay, get a decent little bit on here. All right, get a decent little bit on this other one. Right, lock that sucker down in there. A lot more threads in there that time, so I gotta twist the motor. All right, that should be enough. Yes, sir. Okay, slid right back in. Up in here, I gotta put a little Loctite on this bugger. You can't really see it, but it's going on there. Now this top one, you'll see me doing it here though. Get a little bit of the blue on there. Now it's going to go right in here. Get that sucker in there a little bit. Not quite snug. Just kind of get it snugged and back it off just a little bit. Then we're going to slide it down and get our gear mesh. Got it pretty close. Snug it up a little bit more, top and bottom. Now the gear mesh seems a little tight to me right now, so I'm going to try to slide this motor out just a little bit. Now can you hear that noise? Not only do you go by sight and feel, but you go by sound. That's like the perfect mesh right there. But when you tighten these screws up the rest of the way, sometimes it can tighten that mesh up some more or even loosen it up some more. So after you tighten it down, you need to check for that tiny little bit of slop, that tiny little clicking sound. You need to check that one more time. So I got it pretty snug right there. Let's check that sound again. Yep, it's there. Perfect. Now, we're going to torque her down the rest of the way. Now that's torqued down the rest of the way, you need one more sight, sound, and feel check. Perfect, guys. So that was a problem that had happened to this truck that kind of put it out of commission a couple weeks ago. We got that fixed. I noticed this fan, these zip ties, I can move them a little bit. I'm going to try to get a little vice grip on it. Now I cut these off, the zip ties, cut them off real short, but there's a little bit sticking out. So I might be able to get back a hold of them and pull them. Oh yeah. See, that one used to be short like that. But look how much more I tightened it. So now that fan is getting squished right back down into the motor. And I guess after some bashing and stuff, they probably stretch out. Here we go. Okay, now the next thing was this ESC. See, it's all loose. I'm assuming that the flatheads just came loose. Oh, you know what? I see something right there. See that crack? Yeah, it's broke right there. Well, let's see if I can come up with a fix for that. Okay, here's my fix. I have this plastic welder here, provided to me by my buddy Stan. What it is this controller here. You see it's got different levels and stuff. You can dial it up, dial it down for different heats and stuff. Then you have two different wands. You have one wand that just kind of has like this triangle looking like big soldering iron. And then you have this one here. And it's got a hole right down in the middle. And you just take one of these rods. You have clear ones, white ones, black ones. I like these ones here where you can slide it right into the deal there and weld things back together, plastic weld things back together. So that's what we're going to try for this here. I've plastic welded bumpers. I've even did an A-arm. I had to wait for like a week for an A-arm to come, and I wanted to play with one of my X-Maxes, so I plastic welded an A-arm. Yeah, I've done a few little plastic welds with this thing, and it works pretty good. My Revo chassis is plastic welded to this day even. One of the biggest first things is getting it clean. A little bit of isopropyl. Get this sucker with a little bit on there. Just kind of get that clean along with the piece I'm going to be welding onto that. Get this clean too. Okay, we got some underneath it. We got that part all done. Now we need to get a little bit on the side, I do believe, almost like laying a bead of weld. It definitely ain't gonna hurt to get some on the side, I know that. Perfect. A little bit more over on this side. Alright guys, now as you can see, I mean, it ain't the prettiest thing in the world, but we got a nice bead laid on the side here. And that whole thing is nice and in place. And a nice bead on this edge here. It definitely looks pretty good there. Let's see, is it cool to the touch? Yes, it is. And now that piece, that triangle, is in there nice and steady. I'm going to take this and just slide this knife right here and trim that off where a little bit of a burr almost looks like it rolled over that hole. Now it's cleaned up. Any other burr that might be sitting here so this thing don't sit flat, I'm going to take that off. There's a slight one here. A little piece there. I would say that's ready to go back in, everybody. Set that sucker back down where it needs to be. Something like this. Okay. Now that ESC is mounted on there, nice and tight, no wiggle anymore. Now, in conclusion, to what I think about this truck, the way I have it built, after close to a year of owning it, I'm pretty happy with it. Minimal things I've had to mess with or replace. It handles like a dream with the factory anti-roll bars and stuff. I've never seen a truck handle so good. It's very aerobatic, especially with these bigger tires. I don't love how these tires really swell. I mean, it'll turn these front tires just into pizza cutters. I don't love that. But what that does is it makes it really easy to do backflips and very acrobatic in the air. If it's tipping way back like this, I touch them brakes and it straightens right out. It can be almost in a nosedive. I nail that throttle, whoop, that thing straightens out so quick with these bigger, balloonier tires. My son's Tekno set up almost exact same as this, and he's got a smaller Proline Badland, not the MX versions. They're one of these style Badlands, and they don't have, it's not as quick to respond when you're trying to straighten it out on a backflip. I mean, it still does its thing, but just not as quick as these Badland MXs. All in all, I'm 100% happy with the truck. For 10 scale monster trucks, I would say it's probably one of the best, if not the best. Now, I haven't owned every 10 scale monster truck out there, so I couldn't tell you for sure if, you know, it was the 100% best or whatever. But for me, I really like it. That's why we have two of them. We got one, was so impressed with it, quickly got another one within 2 weeks. Like, it was a very quick thing. Stock form, I can't answer to that. I never ran them with the stock chassis. I never ran it with a smaller motor. I always ran them both with long can TP power motors and big, powerful ESCs. And yeah, no complaints as far as how I have mine built. Well, that's all for today, guys. I'm Traxxas Mike from My RC Life, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks for watching another episode of My RC Life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.